Hey there, so in this video I'm going to be doing a web challenge from the Cyber Apocalypse CTF 2022. I'm going to be doing Mutation Lab. Here is the info if you want to see it. The cliff notes for this challenge is that there is a vulnerability in one of the node packages being used that gives us directory traversal, which we can then use to find the secret key to sign session cookies, so we can forge an admin cookie and log in and get the password or get the flag. So we don't have source code for this challenge, so anything we get, we're going to have to get intercepting with burp. And if we just create an account, we'll do password, register and log in. We're going to see whoever did the front end for these sites is, I don't know if it's the same person, but they were like really good at it. You can see if we're just going to click some buttons. Well, whatever. We're going to see, we're going to get an image of what we were playing with. And if we look at the burp request, we're going to see that what it's doing is it's basically just taking an SVG and then converting it to a PNG. Now, one of the things you always want to try and do is try and break stuff, right? I mean, first off, that's, oh, I gotta put this in repeater. First off, that's typically how you're gonna discover vulnerabilities anyway, because it's going to be, unintended things that the developers didn't expect to happen. But another positive of just trying to break things is a lot of times, like here, for instance, it's expecting a string. It's going to have a bunch of, SVG information in it. But what if we give it an integer? Well, another bonus of breaking things is sometimes we get error messages that have stack traces, and that gives us a lot more information and sometimes really valuable information. So like in this instance, now we can see what module package, I guess Node calls them modules, is being used. Right, it makes sense, right? Something's got to convert that SVG into a PNG, and it looks like what's doing it is this right here. So let's actually go ahead and look at that and see if there's any vulnerabilities for it. Spoiler alert, there's going to be. We see right away there's a directory traversal. And we even get a nice little proof of concept. So looking at it, it looks like this is going to try and make it read the Etsy password file. So let's just go ahead and kind of script kiddie this and just copy and paste without too much thought and see what happens. Oh, shoot. I have double quotes where I want single quotes. So let's get rid of those. I also have new lines where I don't want them. There's probably a better way to do this, but payload. Replace. Let's get rid of the new lines. And then let's get rid of, we want to turn double quotes into single quotes. And now we can, now we can use that. So, as I was saying, let's send that along, and what we're hoping to see here is the Etsy password file. And bam, we do. So we have a directory traversal. So one of the first things you're probably going to want to do, and the first thing I did, was just try and find the flag. Usually in challenges like these, though, they typically make the flag have some kind of like random characters on the end, the file name, so that you can't just find it like that. So if I can't find it like, right away, one of the first things I'll always go ahead and check is just to actually look at the source code of the site itself. So let's make this a little bit bigger. And let's look at, see if we can look at what's actually running. So we'll do app index.js. And if we go there, we are going to see the source code for the index file that's running. And if we see it, it's also, there's a .env file that has the session secret key. So let's look at that. I actually want to keep this. So let's go. Whatever. I guess I don't care. And we see here we're actually going to get the session secret key. So let's actually copy that down. One of the annoying things about this is, right, it's a PNG, so you can't just copy paste. So you have to pray you don't make a stupid typo, which I tend to do a lot. DB. Okay, fingers crossed that's what it is. And then I would typically keep going and looking at the rest of the source code. But I will show one more thing. If we look at, let me remember what it was. I think it was routes. I just wanted to show why it was. Can't really find the file or the flag. So if we look here, in order to get the flag, we need to access the dashboard page. And if we're admin, when we do that, it is going to run this read flag and convert the output to a string. So we can't just, the way it works is, excuse me, we can't just directory traversal to that. We're going to actually have to log in as admin, but that's okay because we can now sign cookies ourselves. So we just need to create an admin cookie. And if we go back to, we can see what is being used on that for the cookies. We see cookie session. Now, actually, so when I did this, and I don't quite understand why this is, right? There's cookie parser and cookie session. And I know cookie session, since it's higher, gets loaded first. But in app, where is it? Oh, right here, it's actually saying use cookie parser. So if you actually go into the source code of cookie parser, you'll see it relies on cookie signature, I think as it is. And if you look at the source code of that to see how it signs cookies, you find that it's not doing anything that looks like this. Like this, it's going to use a SHA-256 and it's concatenating with a period. But this is clearly not a SHA-256 hash because because it is not long enough. What? Oh, it's a URL. URL encoded. So what is that? UR safe There we go. And that is only 20 bytes long. So that's a SHA-1 hash. Well, so then I went back through, and if you go to cookie session, so if we look at and you'll see it uses cookies if you go through and figure out how it's doing it. And then if you look at cookies, you'll go through and figure out how it's doing it. You're going to see it uses key grip in order to sign and deal with cookies. And if you look at the source code of this, it's much more in line with what's going on, right? It uses SHA-1, and it's not concatenating the way the other one is doing. But so I don't, where was it? But I would love to know, I tried to find out, but I couldn't find out how to know which one it's actually using. I don't suppose, like, if you know you're maybe watching this, because I imagine most people are watching this because they're trying to figure out, they want to know how this was done. But if you do know why apparently it's not using cookie parser, even though it's being told to use cookie parser, I would love to know. So please leave a comment. Where was it? Oh yeah, so if we go back in and we dig through some source code and we see, we're going to see how it's doing. It's creating HMAC with SHA-1, and we're going to be using that key. Now, if one thing you can always do, and it's a good thing to be able to do, and like if you're not good at reading source code and you're not good at like kind of figuring out down the chain of what's actually going on behind the scenes, one thing you can always just do is that you can read all the files, right? We have directory traversal. You can just go back through and actually get the files you need to create the app yourself and just run it, and then log in as admin on that. And I mean, you don't even have to make it that complicated. You can just get enough to get a bare bones cookie thing going, and then just create an admin, and it'll do it for you if you can't figure it out. And that's a good skill to have, right? Because a lot of what you end up doing in pen testing and hacking and stuff is you're not just pounding away on the production server, you're creating test environments. So that's essentially what you'd be doing here. So it's a very valuable skill just to be able to do that. And honestly, if this was it wasn't a PNG and I would have to type everything out, it would have been quicker just for me to like copy and paste everything and create a dummy app real quick than the time I spent going through all the code trying to figure out how it's actually signing. But so let's go ahead and we'll just use Python to do this. So we're going to import HMAC, and then let's get our cookie. Where's my notes file? So our message is going to be, oops, that, and our key is going to be that. Whoa, I do not know what I did. Interesting. Key. Oh, I didn't make it a string. And my terminal's kind of, I don't know what I did. So now we're just going to do HMAC. What is it? We could just do digest and key encode and message encode and our digest is SHA-1. And I'm just doing it this one with we already know to make sure I'm doing it right. Like we want it to come out with N4122. Base 64 URL safe B64 encode. And there we go. Okay, so we know we've got that right. So now we can, what do we want to do? We want to base 64 encode. If we look at what the cookie is actually doing, it is actually just going to be a username and our username. So we can now simply just create one, assuming I don't typo, and we want it to be admin, right? Because in our source code, I still have it. Yes. If the session username is admin, we get the flag. So we want to base 64 encode that. It is B6. Why can't I? I messed something up pretty bad. I can't jump to the forward. It is just B64 encode. Well, all right, let's just type this over. I really screwed myself up. Maybe I just didn't have that. So yeah, wasn't terminal's fault. It's just user error. And then we want to go back to hash. Our message this time is the underscore in Python, if you're not familiar, in the terminal is just the previous output. So we don't need to encode it because it's already a byte string. And then we are going to, there we go. So, now we go back into, oops, back into here. Let's log out to clear that cookie. And then we are going to set this cookie. I can remember how to add cookies. So we're going to change the session signature to that one, and we're going to what was the other one? It was session, and then session, and like so. And then now we should be able to go to dashboard, and it will think we are the admin. What did I not? What did I do wrong? Maybe I should just do this in burp. let's just do it in burp. Because I don't actually need to log in. I just need to hit the dashboard endpoint. So we're just going to change session signature, and our cookie, we wanted to use this. One equals, and apparently I typed something wrong. Username admin. Oh, no, that's right. And then still keying code. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Dang it. Eesh. This video is now. I forgot to put session in front of it. So hopefully. Session equals, and there was an equal sign. And now I want to URL safe encode that. And now the flag should be here somewhere. There we go. And then that is framed the secrets. So yeah, there's the flag. Kind of screwed that up there at the end, but hopefully before I did all that, you learned something. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, just let me know in the comment section. And yeah, take care.